Hi everyone, my name is Piterpakulski. Today we'll continue building financial model for a clothing store or shoe store or combined store. So today we have a very interesting task. So we need to put the revenues and costs inside the timeline for different types of stores. So we are assuming that we have 6 types of stores. So some of them, so the types are, for example, small store, medium store, big store. They can be some types of stores can generate losses. So for example, this can be the portrait, the type number 6. So this store will operate for some period of time and then we will close this store. So we can create a portrait for this store and put this type store inside the plan, investment plan, and see what will happen to our cash flow statement if we have some amount of stores that will generate losses and we will have to close them in some time later. So today we will be putting these revenues from different types of stores and costs inside the timeline. I hope you enjoyed. Give us a like, subscribe, share this video with your friends. You can always order financial models from scratch for your unique business ideas. We can help you with that. At the end screen of this video I will give you the link to the playlist where I will be keeping all these tutorials. And when I completely finish this model, I will put all the links in the description of this video as well. So you will be able to watch all the tutorials absolutely free, one by one, since the first one until the final overview. So first of all, let's very quickly run what we did before during previous tutorials. So in our model we have 6 types of stores. So they can be, for example, as I already told you, we can differ them by revenues, by square footage, for example, small, medium, big store, or so. For example, any portrait you can create. Some of them can generate losses, for example. So we have a rule in our model that all inputs are colored with blue colors. So these are the inputs, these are the inputs, so these are the inputs. So all of the cells are automatic, so we are not touching them when we are building scenarios because there are formulas in these cells. So first of all, we have 2 collections. We're assuming that we have 2 collections, spring, summer, and autumn, winter. First of all, we set up when we start selling each collection, the month. Then we are setting up the product line. We are setting up pricing. We can switch on and off different positions. We have global and local coefficients for scenario play. We are setting up the sales plan. We have global and local coefficients for the sales plan. We are setting up the level of manufacturing costs. We have coefficients for manufacturing costs for scenario play. Then we are setting up the discounts inside the timeline. Then we are allocating the sales plan inside the timeline. This is for collection number 1. This is for autumn winter collection. The same story, the same parameters, the same inputs. Then we are allocating manufacturing cost before the moment when we start selling the collection inside the store. So this is how we allocate the manufacturing costs before we start selling this collection. Then we are specifying fixed costs, payroll for this store, investment plan. Then we are setting up the store life cycle, asset tax, and how fast we are reaching the target revenues for this type of store. And this is done for 6 types of stores, not 6 stores, but 6 types of stores. And then we are moving to the core. So here we specify the first year of our projections. We have global coefficients to play with: pricing, sales plan, manufacturing costs, fixed costs, payroll, investment plan. Here we can name our 6 types of stores. We can switch them on and off from calculations. And here we can specify, so let's assume that our chain will consist of 40 stores, and we can when we are opening a new store, we can choose what type of store it will be. When we are gonna open this store, we can switch it on and off, and then all the revenues and expenses will be automatically linked will be added to the cash flow. So we have 40 stores. We can choose between 6 types of these stores. Then we are consolidating the revenues by 6 types of stores: manufacturing costs, fixed costs, payroll costs by for each type of store, investment plans, store life cycle, asset tax, target revenue reach for each type of store from all these. So here we are gathering all the final values from these 6 portraits tabs. Now we need to put these values inside the timeline. So first of all, we have a parameter called store life cycle, and we need to crop the tables that we already created, because some types of stores will be operating not, for example, 10-year, not during the whole horizon, but for example they will be operating only 2 years, and then we will close them because they will be performing losses, for example. So we need to add some amount of stores that will be generating losses to see how our business idea and how many of these kind of stores we can afford at a single moment of time. So let me just very quickly adjust the numbers to 24 months. For example, this type will be 36. Then now if we go here, we will be able to see that all our types of stores have different life cycle. So this means that the store number 1 will be operating just 2 years, and then we will close it because of losses. Store number 2 will be operating 36 months, and then we will close it because of losses. For example, I will be just adding one type of store with losses. Others will be working, for example, for the whole period of 10 years. So what I need to do now, I will now move to core and add here a column, life cycle, store life cycle. So I will be using VLOOKUPs. So I will be using I will be searching for this value. I will be searching for this value in this table. I will be freezing this table. I will need the second column and exact match. If error, I will place here a 0. I'm pressing enter. Then I'm gonna add the final on-off coefficient. So now I've added the life cycles. So for example, if I want to switch off store type number 6 from calculations, I can easily do it. You can see zeros here. So it will be very easy for me to play with scenarios. Then what I need to do, I need to crop the operating activity. So I have this table, operating activity. So here we can see the operating activity 1, 2, 3. So these are the month numbers of operating activity. And now for the store number 1, for example, I need to crop it at the number of 24. So I need to crop it here. So what I will do now, I will copy this table so this will be operating activity crop. Here I will place what types of stores we are opening. I will pull this data from here. And here I will write a very simple formula. So if this value is more than store life cycle, I will put 0, otherwise I will leave this value. Now I'm gonna press enter. Now let's extrapolate this formula to the bottom. And to the right. So what does this mean? So here we can see that the first store type 1 has only 24 months of operating activity, then it closes. Then the next one, type 2, it has 36 months of operating activity and then disappears. For example, that's just an assumption. So here and the last type of store has 84 months of operating activity and then close. So operating activity crop 0, 1, 2, and then to link fixed costs, payroll and other costs, we will just need to create an operating activity crop 0, 1, 1. So 0 means that we don't have an operating activity at this moment. 1 means that we do have an operating activity at this moment. So if this is more than 0, we will put 1, otherwise 0. Now I will extrapolate this formula to the bottom. And to the right. So what we need to do now? Now we need to put the revenue. So let's go parameter by parameter. So the first parameter is our revenues. For that purpose, I will need to create a line where I will be enumerating the columns. I will need that for VLOOKUPs. So the first table I will need to create. So this will be revenues. Step 1. Revenue step 1. So I will be using VLOOKUPs, so I will be searching this value. I will be freezing it, the column. I'll be searching for this value. Then I will be searching this value in this table. So I'll be searching in this table.
I need to freeze this table.
So we saw in this table. Now the column number will be, this will be the column number. We will need the second column. I'm freezing this column the line, I will need exact match. If error, I will put here a 0, and I will be multiplying it. I will be multiplying it on the final on-off coefficient, and I will be multiplying it operating activity 0, 1, 1. So I will just do it first. Operating activity 0, 1, 1. Then I'm adding this value here. So now I will extrapolate this formula to the bottom and to the right. So now here we can see, for example, so this is the store type number 1, 15569. Here it is. And if we go, this will be the first month of its operating activity in May 2024, for example. Then if we go to store number 6, so store type 6, for example, this will be, we can go, for example, let's go back. So the first will be 6, this will be 25569. Here it is. So this is the first step. The next step, so we will already be talking that we won't be able to get the target revenues right from the first month of operating activity. So we will be reaching these target revenues step by step. For example, so let's assume that the second type of store will be reaching the revenues, like for example 1, 3, 5, 20, 40, 60 and 100%, just for example. So here we can see the values. Then so what we need to do now, we need to put these percentage values inside the timeline. So for that purpose, I will be adding the column numbers here as well. For VLOOKUPs. Now I will go to the core and here I have 12 months of reaching the target revenues. So reaching the target revenues. And here I will be using VLOOKUPs. So I will be searching for this value. I'm freezing the column. I will be searching for this value. I will be searching this value in this table. I will be freezing this table completely. I will need to take this column number so this column number I will need exact match. If error, I will take 0 and then I will multiply it on this global on-off coefficient. This will be a percentage format. Now I'm gonna extrapolate this formula to the right and to the bottom. So here we can see for store number 2 we have different values that we've just assigned. Now we need to put these values inside the timeline, and for example if we want to switch off the store number 1 from calculations, we can see 0 here. Now we need to put these percentages inside the timeline. So revenue step 1, then we are copying this table, so this will be revenue step 2. So this will be percentage format. So if operating activity, we will need this this tab. So if this value equals to 1, then equals to 1 for just a second, if this one equals to 0, we will put 0, then if this value equals to 1, we will put, let me go to the top. If this value will be 1, we will put this value. Then if 2 so this will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, then if it is more than 12, we'll extrapolate this value, otherwise 0. Now we're closing the brackets. Now let's go back to this formula. So we're going back to the core. Now we need to assign these values, these cells. So I, J, K, and then T. Okay, so now we can close this formula. Now we can extrapolate this formula to the bottom. And to the right. So here we can see 24 months of operating activity. So count 24, and we will be reaching this revenue step by step. So so for example, this is, we will have 10% of these values. So the next step is very simple. We will just multiply the previous table on this percentage value. So revenues, let me copy this table. So revenues, step 3. So format I will change. So now I will just take the revenue, base revenue, and multiply it on the percentage of reaching the target revenues.
So now we have revenues.
So if we go to the May 2024, when we open the first store, for example, store type 1, so we won't get $15,000 revenue right from the first month. We will get just 10% of that, and this will be $1,500. So now we have more realistic revenues. Now I will consolidate these revenues by types. So revenues, step 4. So what I will do now, I will go up. So this will be my 6 types of stores. And I will use SUMIF function. So the range will be this. So this will be the range. Then criteria will be this. I'm freezing this cell, and summing range will be this. I will be freezing the lines. Now let's extrapolate this formula to the bottom and to the right.
So now we have our revenues. Now we consolidated our revenues. So these are the final revenue values that will go to the cash flow statement. And so what is valuable? So for example, if we look at store type 6, this will be 7473. So now what we can do, we can, for example, easily, for example, switch off store number 6, store number 2, for example. We can see zeros here. We can, for example, so in this particular case, these stores operate only 24 months, but we can say, for example, they will be operating 10 years, 120 months. Now I can go back. Now we just look at this line. And we can now create any scenarios we want. So these are the revenues. Now the next video will be devoted to other costs. I hope you enjoyed it. Guys, like, share, please subscribe. You can always order financial model from scratch for your unique business ideas. We can help you with that. At the end screen of this video, I will give you the links to the playlist where I will be keeping all these tutorials. And when I completely finish this model, I will give you all the links in the description of this video as well. So you will be able to watch all these tutorials absolutely free, one by one from scratch till the final overview. So thank you guys for watching. See you in next videos. Thank you and bye.